your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. It's your girl Bebe Clement and welcome once again to the Bebe Means Business show. Apologies for the late start. We're starting a couple of minutes late. We had a couple of technical issues, computers and IT, they will do what they do best. So apologies for that. But it's going to be a great show, so welcome once again. I'm glad to see that you're keeping safe and well, and thank you for continuing to support the program. Thank you also for your feedback that keeps coming in. It's really, really good. Helps me to fashion the program after what you need, because that's the reason why this program exists, to give you advice and knowledge and tips about anything and everything to do with business and entrepreneurship and how to become wealthy and financially free. That's the whole aim. So welcome once again to the Bebe Means Business show. And for those of you who don't know who I am your host, Bebe Clement. And I run a group of small companies, and I'm also the author of the book that you can see just at the bottom of the screen, How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur. And if you are at that place in your life where you're thinking, you know what? I don't want to do this work thing no more. I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to work on my own dreams. Then this would be a very, very good tool for you to read and help you in your journey. It will help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls that a lot of new entrepreneurs fall into, save you time and energy and money, and direct you clearly to where you need to go to become successful in business. Okay. So as you know, we have just finished, in the UK, we've just finished Black History Month. And Black History Month is always a fantastic time. It's a great time to educate other communities about all the things that we as Black people have contributed to civilization, to growth, to wealth, to history, to name it, we've contributed to it. And to let our children know that, they have a very, very rich heritage. So it's important that we have Black History Month. But I also feel like it was equally important for us to take the time as a people to reflect on where we are, an honest view, an honest, unemotional, dispassionate view as to where we are as a people in relation to wealth creation. And I've got to say, it wasn't all good news. So I want to very, very quickly just go over some of the things that we looked at for those of you who missed the show. But if you did miss the show and you'd like to view it, this is a good time to tell you that we now have the Bebe Means Business YouTube channel. That's the Bebe Means Business YouTube channel. So all the past shows are on that channel. So by all means, please go in there, because I'm building a library there. Go in there and knock yourself out. Enjoy all the past shows that we've had, the fantastic guests and everything that we've discussed that's going to really help you on your entrepreneurial journey. Okay, so like I said, we looked in October, we were looking at where we are as a people in relation to wealth creation. And we looked at that very dismal survey by Bloomberg that came to the conclusion that the typical Black family in the UK has zero wealth accumulated in property, while the average white family has £161,000. Now, I emphasize why that particular piece of research was important, because property ownership, as you know, plays such a big role in wealth accumulation, such a big role. So if we don't have any stake in the property market, then that should send alarm bells ringing. I also highlighted some of the reasons for that. In fairness to us, some of those reasons are beyond our control, but a lot of it is within our control. And so hopefully we will do better. We also looked at the lifespan of the average Black business in the UK and discovered that it was between 5 and 7 years from conception to death. It's 5 to 7 years. And when you contrast that with the average Asian-owned business in the UK that lasts for about one generation, which is 25 years, then you can see that there's a massive disparity. And we looked at some of the reasons why that statistic is also exists, and what we can do to change that narrative, because change that narrative we must. Things cannot continue like that. So that was what we looked at during Black History Month. But today we're in a new month. We're in the month of November. We thank God for keeping us, for sustaining us. And so today I thought we'd look at something different. Now, for those of you who are regular listeners to the show, you know I'm always banging on about collaboration. And there's a reason for that, because it is very clear that one of the things that has held us back when it comes to wealth creation and building wealth in particular is because we don't understand and we don't take advantage of this whole concept of collaboration. We tend to be doing it all by ourselves in our own little corner of the world, literally to death. And you cannot go far with that. Just like they say, if you want to go fast, go on your own. But if you want to go far, you have to go with others. And so if we're going to improve our story when it comes to business and wealth creation, we have to collaborate, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way around this. You cannot do it by yourself, particularly in this climate. You have to reach out and ways to collaborate. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show is because one of the best, if not the best, examples of collaboration that I know of is a mastermind group. A mastermind group. And so today's the title of today's show is The Mastermind Group, and Entrepreneurs Must Have Secret Weapon. A mastermind group, and entrepreneurs must have secret weapon. Now, if you've been an entrepreneur for any period of time, I'm sure you would have heard the term mastermind group at some point. But what is it? And where did it come from? And of what use is it to you? Why am I emphasizing the importance of you belonging to a mastermind group? All shall be revealed. We'll answer all those questions in a minute. But first of all, where did it come from? Where did the whole concept of a mastermind group come from? Now, it came from this guy. I'm sure you've heard of him as well, Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill wrote one of the most successful entrepreneurial books of all time, I'm made to understand, Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. He also wrote The Law of Success, where he first of all mentioned the mastermind group, but he really went to town in this book about what it is and what it does for you. So I would like to actually quote a little bit, read a little bit from his book for you so that you know what a mastermind group is. He said, economic advantages may be created by people who surround themselves with the advice, counsel, and personal cooperation of a group of people who are willing to lend themselves wholeheartedly and in a spirit of perfect harmony. He says, no two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind. Now, I know all that sounds a bit new agey, but I'm going to break it down. Don't worry about it. But having said that, actually, if you haven't read this book, Think and Grow Rich, may I strongly encourage that you do so. If you are a serious entrepreneur, you will pick up some things in there that will blow your mind. It really will, and expand your whole concept of being an entrepreneur. So what was Napoleon Hill trying to say? And I'm going to be drawing from my own personal experience with the mastermind group, because I actually run 2 mastermind groups at the moment. So some of the examples I'm going to be drawing from those. So in practice, what it is a group of motivated, like-minded entrepreneurs who come together on a regular basis. In my case, we come together once a week to collectively solve problems in your business in practical ways and to brainstorm. So what Napoleon Hill was saying was that when 2 minds come together, the result is that they form almost like a third mind. I get what he's saying, because when this group of people come together, the concepts that we come up with, the brainstorming that we come up with, is almost like having another person in the room, so to speak. So that's basically what he says. So I'm going to say that again. In our case, it's a group of entrepreneurs who come together on a weekly basis, and the whole essence is to help you problem solve in practical ways, things in your business. So one of the things I want to say is what it is not. It is not, the one that I run, we don't have startups. So for you to be able to join my one, you have to have been in business for at least a year, because I think startups have a different mentality. And for the kind of people that you want to be around as an entrepreneur, you need people who are already geared up, if you know what I mean. So they tend to be motivated. So you don't have to wind them up or encourage them. Or no, they're good to go. They know what's up. They know where they want to go. They're living on purpose. They're driving on purpose. They understand their why. They've got it together. So they are already motivated. And you need those kind of people. And they're like-minded. So, it's not that one's here, one's there, and one's there. No, that's why I don't have people who have startups at the startup stage, because they're like-minded. All of us have the same kind of mindset, the same kind of goal. We're all going in the same direction. And we meet for 1 hour every week to collectively solve problems. So one of the things that it's not a talk show. So we're not there to make friends, okay? So if that's what you're looking for in a mastermind group, that's the wrong place to be. It's not a networking group. A networking group is predominantly a hunting ground for new customers. That's pretty much what it is, bare bones. That's not what a mastermind group is there for at all. A mastermind group is there to help you solve practical problems. So by way of example, I might come to the meeting and say, okay guys, I've just finished my new website, but it hasn't gone live. What I want us to do for the next 15 minutes is for everybody to log into the website and go through it and give me your opinion. Let me know what you think by way of colors, by way of text, mobility of navigation. Did it have the kind of information that you were looking for? Were the pictures attractive? That kind of thing. And then everybody will give their opinion and their advice on it. If they feel, okay, I clicked on this, but it didn't go to the right page I thought it was going to go to, all this feedback you are given, and then you know what to do with your website. Because sometimes you think, oh, this is brilliant. And then when somebody else gives their opinion, you think, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this is what they got. Especially if you've been emotionally involved or hands-on in the process. You tend not to see certain things. But people who are dispassionate about your business, who have no emotional, affiliation to your business, they can be very clear about what is going on in your business, that you, in a way that you may not be able to do. So the question then is, okay, so this is what a mastermind group does, but why do I need it? Now, one of the problems that we have as micropreneurs, and I'm purposely using that phrase, micropreneurs, because the majority of our businesses don't even qualify as small businesses. Because for small businesses, you have to have a certain amount of turnover, which most of us don't have. And you have to have a certain number of employees. I think it's about 50 employees, which most of us don't have. So most of our businesses don't even qualify as small businesses. Most of our businesses are actually micro businesses. And one of the problems or the disadvantages of a micro business, or even sometimes a small business, is you spend so much time working in the business. You know what I mean? You're the one answering the phones, you're doing the accounts, you're doing the network, going out to network, you're the one bringing in the business, you're the one doing the business, or maybe just one or two of you, or that kind of thing, very small team. So you spend so much time working in the business that you don't have enough time to work on the business. And what I mean by that is working on the business relates to things like strategic stuff. So direction for the business. So planning ahead. Okay, for 2022, this is how much I expect our turnover to be by the end of the first quarter. That kind of thing. This is the area that I've identified that we have a deficit in our business. This is what I'm going to do to plug that deficit in the coming months. That kind of thing. The strategic part of the business. And it is the strategic part of the business that lends itself to growth. And we're seeing the result of that. The fact that we're not having enough time to work on the business, we see the result of that. The result of that is a lot of our businesses remain small. A lot of our businesses have no staff. A lot of our businesses don't attract funding. because we just don't even have the time to think, let alone plan. And so if we're going to move away from some of the things that we looked at during Black History Month and the reasons why our businesses are not doing well, if we're going to move away from that, then this is one of the ways in which you do it. Another advantage of being in a mastermind group is that you get to engage with a caliber of people that you would never normally be in the same room with. Now, for those of you who follow this program a lot or tune into this program a lot, you know that I'm always talking about the power of association. The power of association. I can't overemphasize it. Like they say, your network is your net worth. If you are in business, you need to consistently and constantly be around a group of people who are smarter than you, better than you, more skilled, more successful, and are further down the road in their entrepreneurial journey than you are. Because if you are the biggest fish in your pool of association, baby girl, I hate to be the one to tell you, you need to get a bigger pool. You really do. Otherwise, you will remain small. So you need to constantly expose yourself to people who are better than you, smarter than you. There's no nice way to put it. Smarter than you. But the advantage of that is that you grow. And being around such people, it helps broaden your horizon as to what is possible for your business. It really does. I remember there was a particular product I had early last year that I introduced to the mastermind group that I facilitate. And when I introduced that product and I was speaking to the group about it, they asked me what was I going to charge for that product, and I told them, and they said to me, Bebe, this product is worth so much more. But I couldn't see it. I really couldn't see it for myself. But by the time they told me the reasons why they would be willing to pay more for that product, it began to broaden my horizon a bit more. And I mean this in all honesty, and if any members of the mastermind group are listening, they'll be able to testify to this. I have increased, based on what the advice they gave me, I increased the fees for that product 5 times. Times 5. I am now charging times 5 what I originally planned to charge for that product, and I have a waiting list. So it's amazing what just being around people like that can do for your psyche. My master group, I specifically pick people that complement the members. Like I said, I currently run 2 groups. I might end up running 3 because the demand is quite high, but right now I run 2. And I make up the groups so that the people complement each other. So you might have a commercial lawyer in one group with a small business owner that maybe does printing, somebody else does proofreading, somebody else has a business that maybe an accountancy firm, that kind of thing. So you are exposed to a wide pool of people that have an input in practically every aspect of your business. Now, this is really important, very, very important. Also, you get to know those people, so you get to trust their judgment. And again, that's important because sometimes we don't know where to go for information and we go to the wrong people. But when you are in a group with people like that and you get to know them over a period of time, then you're able to build up trust in their ability to help you in your business. Another advantage of being in a mastermind group is that new ideas are birthed and old ideas are dusted off and revisited. So sometimes you have an idea and it's great, but the timing is not right. So oftentimes, being in a mastermind group, you bring out those old ideas and then hold them up to new light. And it may well be that the period in which you wanted to bring the idea to light was not right, but perhaps now this is the time. Sometimes it's not even that. It's maybe the idea just needs tweaking, or it just needs a slant, but you're not sure how to fix it. You know this is a good idea, but it's not quite there yet, and you don't know how to fix it. But by the time you share the idea with other people, then they are able to tell you, well, if you do this, it might work. If you do that, it might work better. One of the things, may I say, is one of the things that we strongly emphasize in the mastermind group is the issue of confidentiality. So there's no fear of sharing your business ideas. Nobody's going to run off with your business idea. They are there to support you. So they understand the whole essence of confidentiality. And I don't think that's just my mastermind group. I'm sure every mastermind group does emphasize that. Okay. Another thing that you do when you become a member of a mastermind group is you elevate your skill set. You elevate your skill set. Now, this is really important because, you know, when you work for someone, they constantly send you off for training. But once you start working for yourself, I found that one of the first things that goes with entrepreneurs is the whole issue of personal development or career development. Because oftentimes it's just not in the budget. You're fighting to keep your head above water. You just don't have it in the budget. But it is so important. It's almost a catch-22 because it is so important that you continually learn new things about whatever's happening in your industry, particularly in these times, because, you know, things are moving and changing so fast that you can't afford to become stagnant in your industry. So one of the things that you get to do is you elevate your skill set when you're in a mastermind group. I'll give an example. One of the guys in the group that we have at the moment, he had a new product, and the product was such that it was a personal brand product. So potential customers would have to connect with him. He was part of the brand of that product. But to get people's buy-in, they would have to connect with him. And that's fine. He didn't have a problem with that. The only thing was that he did not like social media. He was very shy, didn't like being on social media. And we tried to explain to him that, listen, for this product, you can't get around it. Not only, you can't just even promote the product on social media, you are going to have to appear on social media quite a few times. So he ummed and ahed about that. So one of the things that we made him do was to prepare a 2-minute video that he could put on social media and then play it to us over the coming weeks. So he did that, and then we tweaked it. He would go back, refine it, come back, and we tweak it again. He'd go back and then came back until we were happy with it, that yes, this represented him well. This would make a connection with his potential audience, his target audience, and this would sell the service that he was trying to sell. So once it was ready, he did that. He put it on social media, and my gosh, it blew up. It just blew up. In the very first day he put it on social media, he was contacted by somebody he did not know, who said, look, this is fantastic. I really like it. Would you come and speak on my platform regarding this? So he got a speaking engagement, which he had never planned to do. He never even thought never even thought about it. So he got a speaking engagement from that. And that again brought him to a wider audience for that particular service. So these are the kind of things that happen in a mastermind group. You get to elevate your skill set. Sometimes we even recognize a general deficiency in the group that we address. So I remember there was a time that a lady in the group mentioned something that she was struggling with. And it was interesting because by the time she finished speaking and other members had chipped in, it became clear that that was a common problem. It wasn't just her. She thought it was just her, so she was kind of reluctant to share it. But by the time she shared it, we realized that actually this was a common problem. And so we thought, okay, if it's a common problem, what can we do about it? So I spoke to a friend of mine who I knew had a business that dealt with this. He's a speaker. He's actually been on this show before, Mawson Patterson. And I approached him and asked him if he would just do me a favor, if he would come and speak to this mastermind group about this particular area. And he said, fine, he'd do that. So he came along and he did a brilliant session with us. And it was amazing. It was amazing. It just blew our minds. And we were all the better for it. Everybody was so blown away with his input that we actually, thought, okay, we can't allow this guy to just come and do this thing for free. It's so good. And so we put money together and just, we just blessed him to thank him. And he wasn't expecting that. So that was really good. But the point I'm trying to make is that even if once we find a deficiency in the group, then we address that deficiency any way that we can. Okay, another great thing about being in a mastermind group is that it provides support. It provides support. Now, for those of you who are running a business, you know what I'm talking about. Running a business can be very lonely. It can be very lonely. It can be frustrating. There are dark times, broken dreams, and then, you know, times when Murphy's Law just kicks in. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. No matter what you do, it will go wrong. And those times can be so dark that oftentimes you want to give up. You just want to give up and just dust off your CV and just look for a job. But when you are around a group of people who understand what you are feeling, because if you've never run a business, you can't understand it. Understand what you are feeling, have probably been there as well. They know what to say to support you. And that can make all the difference. Many a business have gone under, not because there was anything wrong with the business or anything wrong with the product, but because they entered into a dark time and there was nobody to hold their hand to say, listen, we'll go together, don't worry, don't give up, we'll go together. There was no one to do that for them, and so they gave up. So it's very, very important that you have those kind of people around you. Okay? All right, I'm going to take a short break in a minute. But then when we come back, we will talk a little bit more about the mastermind group and the reason why you as an entrepreneur need to make sure that you sign up for one, because it is your secret weapon. As always, just to let you know that this is a live show and it's interactive, and so we want to hear your views. If I've said anything that piques your interest, then by all means, if you're joining us on Facebook, just put it in the chat. Or if you're joining us on Twitter, our Twitter handle is @StarRadio. Just put something in there, and we will answer any questions or any opinions that you have. If you have any experience of a mastermind group, if you're a member of a mastermind group, then please, by all means, let us know how yours runs or what your experience has been and how it benefited your business. Because you don't have to take my word for it. This is a common concept. It's not something that's exclusive to me or my mastermind group. So yes, let's hear from you how it has worked for you. And if you're going to call us, then call us on 07539 661 744. That's 07539 661 744. We're going to take a short break now. I'll be back in a minute.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and for those of you who are just joining us, my name is Bebe Clement, and as you know, I'm here every Tuesday between 1:30 and 2:30 at your service to bring you as much advice and tips that I can to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. And today, if you weren't with us before the break, today we are looking at the Mastermind Group, an entrepreneur's secret weapon. A secret weapon, like James Bond. This can really help your business. And so, just before the break, I was looking at how a mastermind group can help you elevate your skill set. Also, it can hold you accountable. Now, this is really important because in business, we tend to drift. You know, like I said earlier, because you're working on the business, you got deadlines, you got to do tax returns, you got to do this, you got to do that. We tend to drift. And then, you know, some of us are naturally, let's be honest, naturally lazy, and we procrastinate. So if you suffer from those kind of things, from procrastination or all that kind of thing, a mastermind group is great for you because it holds you accountable. Now, in my mastermind group, every week you get homework. Everybody gets homework. And so, of course, you don't want to be the only one that didn't do your homework. And I have a particular rule. If you don't do your homework twice, I ask you to leave the group. And I do that because it will bring down, it will slow down the the motion of the group, if you're allowed to do that. Thankfully, I've never had to do it, but all the members are aware that that will happen if they don't do their homework for more than once. So every week you get homework, and obviously that keeps you busy and keeps you focused, and keeps you accountable, because you have to do it. You have to do it. It's not a matter of, okay, I'll look at this in 3 months' time. No, you haven't got the time to look at it in 3 months' time, because in 1 week's time you're going to have to sit before a group of people and tell them what you've done with the homework that you were given. So it keeps you accountable. Another great thing about being in a mastermind group, I think, is that the people look at it, they look at your business through fresh eyes. Sometimes that's all you need, in all honesty. Sometimes that's all you need. You need someone to come in and have a fresh look at your business. Because, because you do it all the time, there's some things that you don't see, you no longer see. But it's really important that at times somebody from the outside comes in and has a look. I remember some years ago I went to do some customer service training for an organization, and as part of my research into the service that they were offering their clients, I looked at how easy it was to come to their office via public transport, because I drove there. But I noticed it was a bit out of the way, so I wanted to know how easy it is to get there by public transport. And I discovered that it was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And not only was it difficult to find, when you actually got to the building itself, because there were a lot of businesses, it was a business center, so there were a lot of businesses in that center. Not only was it difficult to locate geographically, but when you got to the business center itself, the receptionist seemed to assume that you knew where you were going, and would just say, okay, you can go up. Once you told her, this is the company I'm going to, she said, okay, you could go up. So there was no information about, okay, what floor, what room number, nothing. There was nothing like that. So it was very, very difficult to locate. They were unaware of that until I pointed it out to them. They were unaware of that. They were unaware that it was difficult to even park your car if you were a visitor, because they all had passes. But if you were a visitor, it was very, very difficult to find somewhere to park your car. So sometimes fresh eyes can really help your business. So it's really important that you get that, and you get that from a mastermind group. And then, like I said, it's not necessarily a networking group, but having said that, business does get done, because, like I said, if you're a small business and you are in a mastermind group with a lawyer or an accountant, you're more than likely, and you need those kind of services, then you're more than likely to use people that you've been in the same room with for weeks on end. Okay, you also have insider access to their contacts and their information and their opportunities that you would not normally have. You'd be amazed what comes to light. Somebody might just come and say, oh, do you know what? I understand that this company is looking for speakers, and they know that there's a speaker in the group, and you might never have known that was going on. Or I remember one of the ladies in one of the past groups came to us, and she was a consultant for local authorities, and she had identified certain needs within local authorities, and she shared it with us. And so those who wanted to take advantage of that were able to go and do that. We would never have known that that was a need in local authorities. So you get insider information that you would not normally get, and you get access to contacts and opportunities, because sometimes it's just a matter of you need a specific contact. So I remember a few years ago, I think one of them was trying to get into a West African country, wanted to do something in a West African country, and didn't have the contacts in which to do that, didn't know how to set up an office in that particular country. But somebody else within the group had a good network in that country and was able to lend of that network to the other mastermind members. So these kind of things are very, very important. Okay, I also introduced, like I said, they are quite flexible, and not all mastermind groups are the same. So I introduced something that I've introduced here, which we're going to go to in a minute, the book corner, into the mastermind group. So what we do is, at the beginning of every mastermind group session, I recommend a book, and then everybody buys that book, and then we refer to it during the sessions, for 5 minutes during the sessions. So again, that helps us stay on top and keep fresh, and renew our mind, and help us grow. And it's important that we do that. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of that in a moment. I just want to give you a little bit more information about the one that I run. So if you want to join that one, it's called Bebe Clement's Mastermind Group, and we run in cycles of 6 weeks. And this week is actually the last week of the current cycle. So the next cycle is going to start on the 8th of November and the 12th of November respectively. And like I said, it runs for 6 weeks. The current fee is £95 for the 6 weeks. That price is going to go up in 2022, but right now it is £95. And each group has between 6 and 8 people. I purposely keep it small because I think you get more out of it when the groups are small. So for me, it's not about the money. It's making sure that you get the best out of it. So you have between 6 and 8 people in the group. And like I said, it's £95. And if you're interested in that, then by all means, please drop me an email at bb@bbclement.com. That's bb@bbclement.com. Or go to my website, which is bbclement.com, and there's information on it under shop or events page. You'll find information on the Mastermind Group. But whether you decide to join mine or not, any other one that you decide to join, please make sure that you do join the Mastermind Group. They are invaluable to your business. Okay, so now we're going to go to the book corner. And this is the last bit that we're going to do on Bishop T.D. Jakes' book, Reposition Yourself, which we have been dealing with over the last few weeks. So this is the last time that we're going to do that. And he says on page 58, for those of you who don't know what the book corner is, this is something that we introduced 2 or 3 months ago, whereby we will be taking some nuggets from the books that have helped me on my entrepreneurial journey. We will just be referring to some of the nuggets and hopefully they'll be able to help you as well. So at the moment, we'll be reviewing Bishop T.D. Jakes' book, Reposition Yourself, which I must say is probably one of the best books I have ever read when it comes to business. So he says in the book on page 98, he says, be prepared for changes before they occur. And he gives the example of an 8-wheel lorry. He says an 8-wheel lorry has to prepare for turning a corner long before the corner is even in sight. He says if he waits until the corner appears to position himself, it's too late. And it's an accident bound to happen. So my question to you this afternoon is, what changes are you anticipating in your industry that you might need to start preparing for now? You really need to ask yourself those questions. What changes are you anticipating? The way you are looking at the way your industry is going, what changes are you anticipating in your industry that require you to begin to make changes, or at least start thinking about potential changes that you may need to make? Some of us are actually in an industry that the world is not going to need in the next 5 years. That's the truth. And if that's the case, you need to look at that. You need to face that head on. There's no point in you burying your head in the ground. You need to face that head on and see if this is the time to jump ship, or to adjust your business to cater for those potential changes. So for example, the food industry during the pandemic, of course nobody could have predicted the pandemic, but I'm just using this as an example. The food industry during the pandemic had to change such that delivery now became their most important investment. So dispatch riders, delivery drivers now became their most important investment, as opposed to maybe frontline staff or admin staff. Perhaps 3 years ago that might have been their focus. But during the pandemic, delivery drivers and dispatch riders were their focus. That was their biggest investment. Why? Because nobody could go anywhere and you had to deliver at home. Otherwise, your business would go under. So you need to be aware. For instance, those who are in the property development business, those who build houses, one of the things that they're going to have to change now is, because we're spending more and more time at home, and because more and more people are going to be working from home, now when they build a house, they're going to have a study or an office built into the house, which probably you might not have necessarily needed before, but it's going to become pretty standard now. So if you are building a house that doesn't have that, it's unlikely that your house is going to sell as quickly as it probably has done in the past. Okay. You must be ready to seize opportunities when they come your way. Now, that sounds pretty simplistic, but you'll be amazed. You must be ready to seize opportunities when they come your way. And I've often said this, it is better not to have an opportunity and be prepared than for an opportunity to come and you are not prepared. I think you must be proactive in looking for opportunities, not just idly sitting back and hoping that they would drift in your direction. No, you should be actively looking for opportunities for your business and be doing what is necessary, put it in place, what is necessary, so that when success comes knocking, you are ready. There's a Bible story about Peter where Jesus used Peter's boat as a pulpit and then gave Peter some insider information as to where the fish were hiding, because Peter had been fishing all night and he'd caught nothing. And Jesus said, you're fishing in the wrong place. You need to launch out into the deep. And Peter went and did that. And the interesting part about that story for me is that Peter was so successful in catching fish that his nets broke and he needed help. Now, why is that important? Peter's business was not failing at that stage because there was not enough customers or because there's something wrong with the business. Peter's systems failed at a point of success. I find that amazing. He was bringing in the biggest haul he'd ever had, but his systems were not prepared for success. His nets were not strong enough for success. He didn't have enough nets for the success, such that he had to call on other people to come and help him. So again, the question to you would be this: if the success that you are seeking for your business were to suddenly occur, how ready are you for it? Do you have the necessary systems in place? So let's say you have always wanted to have a nationwide company, and suddenly an investor comes along and says, yes, we want to invest in your business and we want to open an office in every major town in the UK. Are you prepared for that? Do you have systems in place? IT systems? Do you have a recruitment system in place so that you could quickly recruit the number of people that you need? Those kind of things. You've got to start thinking like that. You've got to start thinking big. That's the only way I can put it. You've got to start thinking big. Otherwise, success will continue to elude you. And lastly, he talks about you must bring your family with you. Don't let success of your business, which is supposed to make you grow, don't let it make you grow apart. So a balancing act for those of us who are in business, a balancing act, business and family. And to be honest, we don't always get the balance right. Oftentimes we spend too much time in the office, too much time at work, that kind of thing. But you must take your family with you. You don't want your family to resent the business. I remember watching a film where a woman described her husband's, was telling a friend of hers about her husband's mistress, and her friend said, I don't believe your husband would cheat on you. She said, I'm talking about the business. She said, there's no difference. He might as well be having an affair. She said, because the business has taken over his life. I never see him. He spends all his time and energy on that business. So what you don't want is for your family to begin to resent your business. So you must take your family with you on your journey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the end of today's show. I want to thank you once again for joining me. As always, it was a pleasure to serve you, and I hope you will strongly consider joining a mastermind group, because you do yourself a disservice if you don't. I don't care what industry you're in, you need a mastermind group if you are an entrepreneur. So like I said earlier, if you're interested in joining mine, just go to my website. That's www.bbclement.com. or drop me a line at bb@bbclement.com, and I will send you all the information that you need. But whatever you're doing for the rest of the week, I wish you every success in your journey. Go make some money. And as I always say, don't let life dictate to you, but put your signature on life. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.